Minnesota Vikings quarterback JEROME Ezekiel Cousins was under quite a bit of duress and David Bowie under pressure this season, and he was slightly bruised and broken from his head-on collision with several defenders every single play, every single game, every single drive, just whatever. Not that I'm still bitter. 46 sacks, career high, 263 pressures, career high, but it really is amazing what Kirk and the offense was able to do, given the state of the offensive line. And you know what's sad? This is probably the best offensive line that Kirk has ever had in his 5 seasons with the Vikings. And notably, Christian Darrisaw stepped up, and I think that he will quickly become one of the most elite left tackles in the game. Brian O'Neill is still the real deal at right tackle. So the Vikings had 2 of the top 8 overall graded tackles via Pro Football Focus. So, all right, so beep, bop, 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 boop. If you have 2 of the best tackles in the league, and Kirk Cousins still getting batted around, what's going on? Oh, by God. By God, that's the interior offensive line, left to right, Ezra, Bradbury, and rookie Ed Ingram. Even though it's amazing that Bradbury really stepped up, and he went from the worst center in the National Football League for 3 straight years running to above average, top 10-ish type guy, but that still wasn't enough. And I don't know if it's the new scheme or what was going on, but a lot of interior pressure was coming at Kirk Cousins, and it was kind of rough, man, because you look at the numbers. So pressures allowed. Now, you have to do pressure rate with Bradbury because he missed a handful of games. But pressures allowed. Ezra Cleveland, 55. Ed Ingram, rookie, 63. So Ed Ingram was, amongst qualifying guards, was 56. So last in the NFL in terms of pressures allowed for guards. And Ezra Cleveland was tied for second to last with 55, which is very... I carry the one. Very ungood. It's not good, man. So Bradbury also 2.9% pressure rate, 30th, which was second to last amongst qualifying centers. So even though Bradbury had stepped up his game, it still wasn't good enough. And Ezra, who I still like a lot, and Ezra's had some big-time plays, but, I mean, just pressure-wise, it wasn't there. Now, it could be a sort of a time as a flat circle thing. Could they be struggling because they can't trust the guy next to him? Or something like that. So are they struggling because of each other? And I don't know what the plan is going to be for the Vikings, but I do know that Bradbury, even though it's great that he improved this year, I don't think that the Vikings are in a position to pay him $10 million per year plus. His market rate is estimated at $11.9 million per year. If that's the case, deuces. And in-house, Austin Schlutman, I thought looked fine. If he's groomed as a starter, I think that he could be decent. Chris Reed actually played well, outside of the snapping issues, but the actual play of being a center, he was fine. I think Kyle Hinton should get a chance to be a true center. And, of course, you can always scour free agency to find value and whatnot. And also the draft coming up. So interior offensive lineman, JMS, John Michael Smits, University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. Now, 23, when the Vikings draft in the first round, maybe a little high. They don't have a second-round pick, so could it be a spot where the Vikings trade down and then they pick up some extra draft capital because the Vikings really only have 4 draft picks right now, going to be 5 with a compensatory pick. But then you pick up the pride of the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers or Voorhees. You maneuver get him, be a murder scene. I loved him at USC. Whippler is awesome. Jared Patterson is a stud from Notre Dame. So there's going to be options. There is going to be options. But right now, I mean, the Vikings, they need to figure something out along the offensive line. And right now, this wasn't working. So I actually could see a spot where Bradbury is allowed to leave in free agency. And then the Vikings get a juicy compensatory pick in 2024. And Ezra, maybe he's not handed the starting job next year. Same thing with Ed Ingram. Maybe it is a true blue competition, and maybe they get after it in that way. But, yeah, the interior offensive line, even though, like I said, this may have been the best offensive line that Kirk Cousins had in the last 5 years, it's no good. It's no good. And, you can't just be Darrisaw and O'Neill versus the world. They got improved along the interior for next season. But your thoughts are thoughts. The Vikings still having interior offensive line issues. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. We'll support the work. Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.